Hello, everybody. I'm here today with a very special guest, Mr. Raza Rumi. He is the editor of Friday Times and the founder of Nayadaur Media. We're in conversation with him. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for being on our channel. We really appreciate it. And please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. You're such a big name in journalism, but I feel like the youth needs to know even more. So please tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Obviously, the popular identity is that of a, editor and a journalist, and because that's what sort of sells on social media.
Absolutely.
And in the public domain. But, I've done many things. I've been a civil servant in my past. I've worked for the Asian Development Bank, and these days I actually teach in the US at Cornell University, and I'm also a director of a Center for Independent Media at Ithaca College.
Amazing.
So I divide my time. I'm there during all the semesters, and in the vacations I'm here.
You do a lot of things, which is why it was hard to introduce you in just 2 words, because you do a lot of things.
Well, I suppose, yes.
And a lot of that is in the industry of media.
Yeah.
Let's keep it. Yeah.
And communications.
And communications, exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to pick your brain a little bit about some hot media topics, if you don't mind. So, as you know, now the world is changing a lot, and because of social media, there's a lot more less privacy. There's a lot more people speak up, people, post things. So what do you think, who wins when it comes to journalism or power?
Yeah, that's a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Obviously, power is always dominant, as we know. Historically, it has been, particularly in the case of Pakistan or countries like Pakistan.
Yeah.
But things are changing. As you said, social media has democratized how we engage, how we communicate.
Absolutely.
And so these are new trends which are coming up, and new people now, even an ordinary person has a voice.
Yeah.
He or she can, take to Twitter or Facebook or Instagram and say what they want to.
Yeah.
And a lot of citizen reporting, citizen journalism.
Yeah.
We have seen it happening in Pakistan, I mean, globally it's a trend, but here, in Pakistan, issues and topics that were earlier not picked up by the media are now coming through citizens' domain.
They are.
So that's a great, thing, but at the same time, it has a downside. Yeah. And the downside is because it's become so big and so ubiquitous, in our WhatsApp groups, which are very popular in Pakistan, you can just send anything and forward anything. And people will just believe that.
Exactly.
So power has come into that. So now we know that, the powerful people and institutions, like the political parties, like the military, like other groups, they try and tailor and influence social media so that whatever gets to people is of their liking and their choice.
Right.
So power is again trying to undermine this free flow of information, democratization.
Yeah.
And so that's a threat.
It is a threat. Is it? I love how you said this is actually a democratic state.
Yeah.
But is it a democratic state?
Pakistan, if you look at the environment, it's still not a full democracy.
Yeah.
It's up and down, because a democracy really comes when you have people, a well-informed public opinion.
Absolutely.
When people demand for their rights, when people exercise check on power, on politicians, on powerful institutions like the judiciary, the military, the bureaucracy. And until that happens, they remain dominant.
Yes.
And that's the thing in Pakistan, that the democratic process is weak. The other problem is our political parties also.
Yeah.
They're also not very organized. They don't have democracy within themselves.
Absolutely.
Families rule,
It's like a dynasty.
Yes. Father, daughter, son, grandson, whatever you.
Yeah.
So you have this repetitive cycle. So
it's kind of like a business, like nepotism runs in our
family
politics.
business.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
like a family business.
Yes.
They're born right.
Exactly.
So you could say it's a very confused monarchy, democracy, God knows how many other things one can call it.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like a semi I would say it's like a semi-democracy,
Semi-democracy, I feel like we have a lot to learn, but I feel like we've also come a long way from where we were at the time. We have I feel like it's important to recognize that we're not the same as we were back then.
Exactly.
Now a lot of people have a voice, a lot of women have a voice, a lot of young people have a voice.
Yes.
So we are getting better, but nonetheless, we have a lot of work to do.
Correct.
So when we're talking about journalism, how do you think politics affects journalism, and can they ever be completely unbiased?
So, two very important questions. I mean, politics and journalism cannot be separated. They are interlinked, because the thing is that so if we define politics, and politics is not just about political parties or who's in power, Imran Khan versus Nawaz Sharif or Shahbaz Sharif. It's not that.
It's like a reality show.
Yeah. By politics, what we mean is the bigger, process, the larger processes at work in a society. Who decides what?
Yeah.
Who has the power to change? Who has the power to set policies? Who has the power to implement?
Yeah.
Who is actually in charge? And that particular, issues linked to who exercises power. And the primary role of journalism and journalists is to check whether the power is being used or abused.
Exactly.
Is it in public interest? Is it in public good? Are there decisions made? Are they helping people? Are they for larger welfare of the society or not?
Absolutely.
So if, and so therefore, journalists have to be a check on the exercise of political power.
Absolutely.
They should not be part of that power process.
Absolutely.
There has to be a distance. But the second question that you mentioned is even more important, and which is about bias.
Absolutely.
Now, this is also, this is something I teach in my journalism classes as well. There's always a bias. You can't remove that, right? So, even if you claim I'm not biased, it's a kind of a biased statement because it's untrue.
Exactly. Even that statement, that's brilliant. Even that statement in itself can have a little bit of a bias because it's completely untrue.
But I think journalists should be biased, and I'll tell you how they should be biased.
Yes.
They should be biased in favor of democracy, in favor of rule of law, in favor of public good, in favor of public interest. They should be biased for the people, not for those in the power.
Not for those in the power.
The prime minister, or the presidents, or the army chiefs, or the big names. They should be biased and tilted towards people and people's interests. And that's why journalists bring out investigative stories of corruption. They bring out if the police has done some excess somewhere, if people's rights are being curtailed. So that is where journalists have to be biased. That's my view. It's an unfashionable view. People usually make these statements, unbiased hona chahiye.
You have the right to your opinion.
So I personally feel that yes, I'm very biased, and I'm biased in favor of social justice. Okay, and I believe that if people are being marginalized, if they are being victimized, I have to speak up for them. And even if it means I sound biased or angry or whatever, so be it. I don't care. Log kehte hain na ke, you must exercise caution.
People say that all the time, especially the journalists.
So, but if you see, in Pakistan, we have all these cases, police stops you at a checkpost, takes a bribe, right?
Yep.
Then they bring people wrongly to a police station. They book them in cases. People go to courts for 20 years, 10 years, 30 years. They don't get relief. They don't get justice. So obviously, we have to speak against them. We have to challenge them. We have to expose them. And we have to question them. Because if we don't do that, then we are undermining the people's rights as
we might also be a part of it then, because if you're not speaking up, you're also part of the cover-up.
Exactly.
In one way or the other.
Exactly. Because they say, there's a famous saying that those who remain silent are also participants of those who perpetrate such crimes.
That is another opinion, and everybody has their right to their opinion. But then my question remains that when you say that you should speak up, and journalists are the ones who aren't who need to keep check and keep tabs on what is happening, fact check what is right, what is wrong, and just inform the public, this is what's happening, this is what's not happening. But then when they do that, they get silenced.
Yes, many a time.
Many a time. Thousands and thousands per year.
Jailed, killed, silence, all of that. I've been through that myself, So in 2014, I faced an assassination attempt.
Oh my God.
Here in Lahore, not far from here, I was attacked. My driver died in that attack.
I'm so sorry.
I was sprayed with bullets and everything. So I have been through that process myself. And obviously there was a time, for some time after that, I thought, okay, it's not worth it and all of that.
Yeah. How did you keep yourself going?
So it was very tough. Initially, it was very traumatic.
Yeah.
So obviously I took a back seat, and then I realized that, I must not remain silent. I must not step back, because the thing is that, if I believe in freedom of expression, if I believe in free speech, then obviously I should not desist from speaking up. But then I thought that my only problem at that time was that because somebody had died, because of this attack, so I had this moral pressure, that I should exercise caution. So that's why I left, and I relocated myself to America, where my other, where my siblings live.
All right.
So I already had family there.
You're lucky,
I was lucky, yes. Yeah. And a lot of people are not lucky, and I'm privileged, and I thank God for that.
Absolutely.
And all that.
Absolutely.
And I also feel bad sometimes, though privilege is also guilt.
Yes.
Right?
You can pick up your things and leave, but a lot of them might not.
Yes. So that's also a guilt that weighs on you. But then so I continued with the Friday Times, and I edited the Daily Times, a newspaper, for 2.5 years. And then I set up my own little digital startup, Nayadaur Media.
Yeah.
So because I did not want to leave the field that I'd chosen willingly, right? Happily. I wanted to be a journalist.
That says a lot about you as a person, and I want to get into your personal ventures that, came out of this experience. But if you don't mind me asking, I know it's very hard to go down that route, but how did that assassination attempt make you feel?
How did it? So, obviously now, it was 8 years ago. So obviously 8.5 years. So obviously, I'm in a far better place mentally and physically and all of that. Thank God for that. And, my friends and my family and everyone who supported me, I'm grateful.
Yes.
You need a lot of support at that time. And my sisters, who live in the US, so they really helped me rebuild my life, restart everything. But obviously, I'm always wary. I'm very, very petrified. And, recently, Arshad Sharif was killed in Kenya.
Yes.
That was again a very personal thing for me, because, I exactly knew how these things are. Before that, Hamid, the same year when I was attacked, Hamid Mir was also attacked.
Yes.
And I know many others. Sar Alam was shot, in Islamabad.
Yes.
And that was also very, very sad. And, so all these cases. So at the back of my mind, yes, it's there. And, I had to undergo counseling for PTSD,
post-traumatic stress disorder, of course.
Yes. So for many years, I still actually go for counseling, and because you see, the thing is that these things take a long time. The trauma doesn't go away.
I feel like it becomes a part of you almost.
Yes.
It'll never really leave you. And so you thought it was still worth pursuing this career path afterwards, because that's how much
people call me mad and all of that. A lot of my friends say, why you have I had a career in civil service.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah, so I believe in it, and I believe that, in Pakistan, the biggest problem is the fact that, we have not informed people properly.
Yes.
We have not educated them.
Education, I feel like you hit the bull's eye.
Yeah.
Could you really have a real democracy without education?
Or forget democracy, even a normal society.
Absolutely. Sorry.
Democracy to dur ki baat hai.
Yeah,
but even to have a healthy, tolerant society, people need to be educated. People need to be told that these things that you believe are wrong, or you have been fed lies. So, our problem in Pakistan is that, our school textbooks teach lies.
Yes.
They teach a doctor history. Children, when kids are really young, they are brainwashed.
Yes.
They are brainwashed about things like all non-Muslims are bad.
Yeah.
They will go to hell. I used to believe in that. So I'm a first-hand, I can confirm that when I was until 18, I believed, because of all the things I imbibed in my school and environment, I believed that Kafirs or the non-Muslims will go to hell and Muslims are better. Yeah, right? So when you start believing that, you undermine the value of a human being. And so, humanity is the basic principle. Any human being who may be from any religion, any background, any caste, any sect, is
any color,
it has the right to life, right to dignity, right to prosperity, and so such ideas. I mean, I'm giving you just one example, but then we are taught about how to hate the Hindus, how the Jews are always against us, how the Christians are bad, how the Christian West is conspiring against us. We grew up with these wrong ideas, and part of my journalism has not been the regular, reporting on what is happening in the Punjab Assembly. Now I do more of that.
Because it's become very hot and happening now.
Yeah. But now I do that because Imran Khan versus. I mean, I have written and read. I mean, you can go to my website, razarumi.com.
We did. It's beautifully made, by the way.
Thank you. And there are hundreds and hundreds of my articles and reports and features on extremism, on tolerance, on education, on culture. I believe that, the other thing I wanted to always write about and speak about is that we were not like this before, right?
We weren't.
We were a tolerant society.
We weren't. We made this country, and our forefathers were never like this.
Exactly. So, we had Christians serving in the Pakistan army in the 1965 war, in the 1971 war, they gave their lives, right?
Yes.
We have our Hindu brothers and sisters who live in everywhere in the country, mostly in sin. And, when we say, we hate Hindus, hamare dushman hai, they are our enemies. We are actually calling our own countrymen and women our enemies, right?
Yeah.
So, and then, forget about the religious differences, our Sufi poets like Bulle Shah, Baba Farid, and others, they taught us tolerance,
Tolerance is key, I
respecting each other, shunning caste. But we don't do that. Today, we are still caste-ridden, I will say, you are a Sayyid and you are, I know. And I'm not a Sayyid, so you are superior, right? And I'm
or
inferior.
you're
I don't know what your team members are, Rajput hai or whatever. We have programmed our brains like that.
Yes,
this is BS.
It is.
Let me call it spade a spade. Because nowhere in the world, these are all things of the past, organized to create a society.
Organized to divide.
Divide and control. Power, the word you use.
Power.
Because then the Sayyids like you control power, have all the power over us, right? Non-Sayyids.
No.
So that's the, or the Rajputs think they're superior, or the, whatever happens. So, I'm saying that all these things, where are they coming from? They're coming from because we are not trying to create a tolerant, equal society. All human beings are equal.
Yeah.
All Pakistanis are equal before the law. And that's what our constitution says.
It does.
So when it says, let's implement it. Let's remind those who put the constitution into place, but our leaders, I'll tell you, when General Ziaul Haq was the president, he was an Arain. Arain is a caste in Punjab as well.
I know. Actually, let me correct you. My mother's side is Sayyid, but I'm Arain.
Oh, okay. Well, Chalo, you are the... Chalo, you're a good mix. So, but the Arain, so all Arains in Pakistan got good positions and said, we are Arain. Then the Sharifs are Kashmiris.
Yes.
Every Kashmiri benefits, right? So Kashmiri hote hain, to aapki wo transfer posting ho jati hai, bureaucrats, politicians. Look at the list: Khaja Asif, Khaja Saad Rafiq, Ishaq Dar. All the top people are Kashmiris. Right? Are they there on merit or because of their caste?
Just caste.
So groupings are always important, I won't deny, but they should not become so what I'm going back to my idea, that's what I always have done in the past 15 years or so, because I had a career in the Asian Development Bank. I was in the Philippines, I took leave, took leave for 3 years and I joined the Friday Times. I wanted to write regularly and I wanted to edit. So I started doing that and I liked it so much. I went back to my job and I said, okay, I'll quit. Although I was getting much more money there, many more perks. But the fun and the engagement and enjoyment that you have when you're expressing yourself, when you are speaking up for people, when you are being read, when people are actually getting influenced by what you write. Absolutely. And over time, a lot of people, I won't say, Urdu press has a bigger audience in Pakistan, right?
Yeah, they do.
So I will not boast about, but in the last 10, 15, 12 years, many people have come up to me, in emails, in DMs, in person, and they've said, I have changed my views because of you. I have started thinking differently, and trust me, that is the biggest bonus and kick that you can ever get. That if you are able to influence young people and shed some of their mythologies or the wrong information or education or lack of education, I guess that's my view.
I think that's your passion. That's your passion. And I feel like for you, passion trumps anything else.
Always. And remember, journalism is all about passion. I tell young people when they come and meet me, they say, I want to be a journalist, and I ask them, are you serious about making money? Because this is a tough path.
It is a very tough path.
If you want to make money, go to Lever Brothers, go to Procter & Gamble, go to Nestle, Pakistan.
Absolutely. Get a 9-to-5 job, get a 9-to-5 job, bank mein chale jaye,
वहाँ पे पैसे बनाए, loan ले, credit card ले, घर जाए. But if you need passion.
That's it.
More than 50% is passion.
More than 50%. I completely agree. If you're not passionate for a cause, this is not the right field for you whatsoever. So I would like to get into your, your venture, your personal venture, like your baby. Your personal.
Well, it's not just me, but I sort of.
You founded it.
I founded it with the help of, a few friends. So, I have a couple of Pakistani doctors in the United States who are progressing because I was based there.
Amazing. Yes.
And they're always been wanting to, they said Pakistan there should be something like ENPR.
Yes.
Or there should be something like that. And they said, can you tell us who to contact? So I put them in touch with other people. I wasn't too keen. I was undergoing all of that.
Exactly. Right? So that was all in the process.
Yeah. So I was saying, okay, aap jaiye, kariye. And then they said, why don't you do it? And they invested a little bit of financial support in the first few years. And then I found a team here. By the way, I did not come back to Pakistan for almost 5 years. That was another traumatic. I left in 2014 and after 4.5 years I returned, and that was the time, and then I built this team and all of that, and then I found some very young dynamic journalists and other people,
passionate journalists.
Yes, passionate. Yeah. We set up a small team, and then it has grown now it is earning money from advertising revenue. Of
course, yeah.
So
that's the business model for journalism.
And now I have, earlier this year I met a year ago I met a very nice, and again a very driven Pakistani businessman, Harun Khwaja, who has a big business of his own, and he was very much, he used to follow our Nayadaur media.
Yeah.
And he said, why I would like to get involved. So then we set up a proper company here in Pakistan, and he's part of the board. He's the chairman of the company.
Amazing. Okay.
And I'm the CEO.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. So this, just to translate to all audience, Nayadaur is actually means new time.
Yeah. New era, new times.
New time, which is kind of interesting when you look at it, what you went through, and then you came up with this Nayadaur, like you want to change the ways,
yes,
you know, like that a lot of people
new ways of thinking, new ways of journalism,
fresh and kind of, again, it's a little bit biased, but in your opinion, the right way of doing things.
Yeah, the right way. Yes, we are biased.
Yeah, the right way.
Never made any bones about that we are biased towards the Constitution of Pakistan.
Yes,
it should not be violated by politicians or the army or the judges.
Yeah.
We are biased in favor of democracy. We are biased in favor of human rights, equal rights for women, for minorities. Very clear.
Minorities, yeah.
If it's biased, so be it.
Every race, every caste, everyone. So no, okay, I understand that. We respect that, and you know, like we're happy that you and a lot of people are thinking, you know, like a lot of progressively right now.
Yeah,
it's not. That's what I said. That we are moving into a direction where it could look better, and it already is looking upward with more and more people like you.
Yes.
So, do you think that we can actually get there in the terms of like journalism and media, where we're trying to get in like freedom of speech, and like where if we speak up, we're not going to be, you know, shut down, or we're not going to be silenced, or all the other little things that they do? Do you think we can get there?
We can get there. It's still a long road ahead.
Yeah.
You know, it's very tough. I mean, we just talked about Arshad Sharif's murder.
Yeah, that moved the whole journalism industry. It shook his little kids.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
It just shook everything.
And it's terrible. You know, it's totally unwarranted and unacceptable. And then the second thing is that, you know, I think the other problem with mainstream media, you see, the mainstream media, as we know, has lost credibility. On the big TV channels, they are owned by these giant billionaires, you know.
I was going to ask, like broadcasting versus digital.
Yeah.
Is it a damn horse now?
So I think it's because it's losing credibility. That's why a lot of people follow YouTube now.
Exactly.
Okay, and on YouTube you find a lot of views. You know, polarized again.
Exactly.
Some are totally pro Imran Khan, some are totally anti Imran Khan, some are totally pro military, some are anti military. So you know,
plethora of things.
Yeah, so it's a big. I think people have far bigger choices available.
Yes,
and I think that's what a democratic society should do.
Yeah.
It should give choices, but what we do have to find ways is to check disinformation.
Yes.
And misinformation and propaganda. You know, information and propaganda, there's a big line that you have to draw.
There really is.
Lies cannot be peddled, you know?
Yes.
And every day on social media, we get these lies circulated and
people exaggerate, and there are a lot of different manipulations. They take out one word, they make it into something else.
Yes.
So my question, you know, before we head out is, do you think broadcasting is dead?
I think it's dying. I think it's dying, and
it's on a ventilator.
Yes, it's on a ventilater. And I'll give you an example. As I told you, so in 2014, you know, when I moved to the United States, and you know, because it's far more technology is better, Wi-Fi speed is very high, okay?
Exactly.
All the TVs you can find on your phone.
Yes. I don't even remember the last time we turned on the TV.
Yeah, and I have a TV, okay?
Yeah.
I have not, I think only once I used it when Trump won the election in 2016. The only time.
Wow, that is
8 years, okay? 8 years I've only used TV. I mean, so, which also shows that there are millions like me.
Yes, they are.
I don't buy a print newspaper anymore.
We don't.
You know, it's everything on the phone.
Yes.
I just go to I follow all the websites on Twitter, I get all the news. I don't go buy a, so, it is not changing. It has already changed. And TV channels, if they don't broadcasting in Pakistan, if it does not fix itself, and you know, so at the moment, look at the scene. The two big channels are Jio and ARY in Pakistan. Jio is tilted a bit towards the anti-Imran forces. ARY is totally tilted towards Imran Khan. Okay, so if you're an Imran Khan supporter, you will put on ARY. If you're a Jio supporter, you will put on. If you're a Noon or PPP supporter, you will put on Jio, and you will watch that. And the Imran supporter will put on Jio and say and abuse Jio. You know, and they marenge usko.
And ARY also got shut down.
ARY got shut down as well now. But this is not how big TV channels should operate.
Not at all.
They should be party, political, platforms, right? And so obviously something, there's a big mess.
It's a mess.
Yeah, and if it goes on and on, credibility of these outlets will fall.
Keeps going down.
And that's why digital is rising.
Yes.
And more people watch your channel, or they watch the other media, they watch others.
Yeah.
You know, we have like there's search videos.
Yes.
There's the current.
Yeah.
There's so many other new outlets. There's the Voice for PK.
Yes.
There's Cut.
Yes.
You know, and all these small digital. I mean, these are smaller outlets.
Yeah. But they have a larger voice in my opinion.
Yeah, in larger voice and impact.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because I feel like, and they're not even so much in a war with each other.
No, they're not.
That's also something very, very refreshing. Each of them have their own space, have their own audience, and people follow a lot of them.
Exactly.
And everybody is happy.
Exactly.
It's not like, जैसे आपने कहा कि उसको curse karo,
exactly.
and then just, like choose like either you're with us or against us.
Exactly.
And even when you turn on those channels, it's just fights.
Fights all the time.
It's just fights.
Crazy.
And they're actually, I feel like the main generation, and actually the majority of the world's population is like, they're actually lose out on those people, people.
Absolutely.
So it was lovely. I'm gonna conclude here. And we're hopefully going to have you on again because I loved speaking to you. I can 100% guarantee the viewers loved, hearing you, and we're honored to have you. And I'm going to conclude it here. And best of luck to both of our ventures. And
best of luck.
Like Nayadaur, media and TGN Global, and we're both from the same industry and sitting happily together.
Yes,
that's a big message on its own.
I guess so.
It's a big message.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, and thank you for watching. And keep watching TGN Global Hard Talk, and we'll be right back.